Skull, y'all. This is Big Country Mags from the MDK Alliance, and you're listening to the Escape Pod cast. This show was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. Now grab a horn of your favorite mead, pull up a seat to the hearth, and enjoy the show. Take it away, boys.
One is a resident aquatic creature from the mountains of Appalachia. Another is a calm, calculated collector from the swamplands of Florida. And the other is a raid battle commander from the cornfields of the Midwest. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. But with an average of over 1,000 days spent logged into the game each, the one thing we are sure of is you will be entertained. This is the Escape Pod Cast, a weekly look into some of the best mobile games out there. This is the Marvel Strike Force Edition. Live from the Nerdy Network studios aboard the Helicarrier, here are your hosts, Flair Embers, Nick Williams, and Kyle Preston.
Coming up on this week's episode of the Escape Pod Cast.
Our stomachs are full of turkey, and just not the cyber kind, unfortunately. How did everyone deal with Thanos Giving 2.0?
As we're waking up for the festivities, we've had to deal with hoarding arena payouts. Have we reached the peak of Marvel Hoard Force?
The Angel of Death and the 5th Death Seed member have had their kits revealed. Just how busted is this raid team going to be?
Friday means a blog post. Can they do even worse than announcing minions being required for death?
Xery brings us his top 5 early game carries, and Thad continues our dive through the Darkhold with Scarlett Witch and Heartless Doctor Strange.
This week's special guest is RunSeven, an awesome content creator and streamer who hosts his own MSF news program, The Recap.
We're also fielding more questions on the bridge, our Patron's Choice segment.
All this and breaking news as and if it happens.
Right here on the Escape Pod
Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast News.
What is up, my friends? I'm Bones88, aka Kyle Preston. These are my buddies Flair Ember and Nick Williams. What you guys up to?
Oh, we have a quick thing I need to fix. I just realized I did a goof from the.
Are we still alive?
We're still live. We're still live.
Okay.
I just I made a goof. Give me 1 second.
I just got hit by my light.
All right. Okay, well, they're having technical difficulties. I'll go ahead and start. Welcome, everybody, to the Escape Pod Cast MSF Edition. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. I know the cadence is a little messed up. Some of you might have been expecting the Swaga show this week. For the holidays, we've swapped it. So the MSF show will be on the 1st and 3rd weeks, and then the Swaga show will be next week, and then the 4th week of the month. Or the 5th week, sorry. Not the 4th week, because Christmas will also be off.
Yes, sir.
Boy, howdy, we had a lot of news.
Yeah, so how you guys doing this week, though? How well, the last 3 weeks? Your guys' holidays go well? How's your Marvel Strike Force going?
Oh my gosh, dude, the holidays have completely messed up my rhythm and cadence in Strike Force. It's been so nuts. I am trying to find where I've saved our images for this, and that is an issue.
Oh, goodness. My holidays were kind of cruddy. I basically spent 8 days with a head cold.
Oh, that sucks, man. Well, I spent it working the whole time, so don't worry. But
yeah. But no, otherwise it was nice.
Good to hear. So I have a question starting off. Have you guys, I'm sure you have, gotten Black Panther 1mm or whatever his name is?
Yeah, for sure. I got him actually really early on. So our alliance is kind of one of those that pushes. Actually, the events they gave us to unlock him were really easy to get him started. You can unlock him right before Nakia's event. I'm still poking around here. I'm sorry, guys, for the technical difficulties.
You're good, Seth. Did you unlock him?
Oh yeah, I unlocked him a while ago. I had him unlocked after the 2nd event, before we even had the Nakia event.
So here's my question: why am I not able to unlock him? I'm this far from getting to the 33rd milestone, and it just sits there. And I'm doing all the other milestones that are in the.
Did you get the big pieces? I mean, I also bought 2 orbs in the purchase event, so that might have been the difference.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'm right there, and I have been for like a week, and I don't know why I'm not progressing, and it's driving me nuts. But good. So you guys, do you like war dogs? Have you used them much?
I used them a little bit in war, but I've only put them up against like bad teams.
I see.
Mine are mostly gear 12, and then Shuri's like 14. So I've kind of been hesitant to, see what they do against a 1 million 8 Heroes for Hire, just to see if they do anything. And I'm not really, looking to irritate my alliance by doing something silly like that.
Right. Yeah, I'm just kind of on it. I just want to unlock him. That's all I care about. But we'll see. I got 3 more days, I think. So.
Yeah, it ends right before the 6th, which is it's going to be super crazy. I know we've got a couple things we want to talk about while I'm still trying to figure out where I've saved these daggone images. We had our Thanksgiving event, and who agrees with me that was a pile of garbage?
Did we really even get anything from it?
We got 5 turkeys. That was it.
So like 2 milestones, like they put like some interesting stuff in there, and I'm like, oh, maybe they'll do, blitz till your hands fall off, and you can get yourself, 50 shards of abomination. That wouldn't have been a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, spend money. Stop thinking, spend more money.
Yeah, I didn't even really notice it. I just saw it there, and I didn't really worry about it too much. So, what else went on? What else we got, guys?
Well,
goodness.
Who enjoyed having to hold on to power cores from their arena payouts?
I don't do it.
7 days.
I don't do it.
You didn't do it?
I just don't do it, man. It drives me insane. And usually it's because I accidentally claim them after a few days. And I have to sit there and stare at it for a while. Like, okay, I can claim this one. And I don't do it, man. I should have, but I didn't. So I don't like it. I don't think much anyone else does like it either.
No, it's been, this is kind of the peak of Hoard Force, Marvel Hoard Force.
Yep.
Like thinking about it, like, oh my gosh, we've had to not only hold on to raid payouts from certain events, we've had to hold on to donation boxes. Now they've told us to hold on to a thing that we get every single day. And it's like our arena payouts. It's like, come on, man. Like, do we really have to hold on to that of all things?
And don't forget, twice this month they had us hold on to our ISO charges.
The
it's
ISO
always
charges I've
something.
actually gotten used to holding on to. That's not been as huge of an issue. I just kind of know, I learn the kind of the cadence to using them. It's like, okay, I can like kind of go all out for a little bit, and then I just reel back on it. And then there's some days where it's just like, oh, I need to not touch this at all. So it happens.
I have a question for you guys. Remember, I don't know how long ago, it was at least a month, maybe a month and a half ago, they had a slip up pack. It was like $5 for 5,000 power cores.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? Do you think this event is kind of their way of sucking those cores out of you? Because it's doing that to me. I had like 6,000 and I'm down to like 1,500.
Here's the problem is that the current event we're in right now, that where we're wrapping up right now for Namor's costume and this heart-shaped herb, it's not using power cores, it's getting power cores.
Well, what I'm saying is overall, like this whole Black Panther thing, where you have to refresh your ISO 8 campaign energy. You have to refresh the Nakia event campaign energy. You have to, buy extra, because I don't do that. I only do campaign energy. And then you have to do, I don't know, there's 3 or 4 of them. And well, also you had the power core event that you have to spend, right? I mean, there's different ones that keep coming through here. But since the 1 million BC Black Panther came in, it seems like they're really trying to suck all these power cores out of you. But maybe it's just me. Maybe that's just a generic thing they want to do, because that means you have to go buy more and all that. But I just wondered what you guys thought about that. If I was looking too much into that, something like that, or if you think that might be why. Because I feel like they're going to find reasons to take away those resources that they had to give back to you because they made a mistake. You see what I'm saying?
I think there is something to it. But at the same time, I think it's actually a matter of they're wanting to drain your resources in general to make you to fight for those milestones. There's no such thing as a low effort milestone anymore.
I agree with that completely.
So I think it's definite. I don't think it's just targeting cores to try and like claw some back. I think it's just a general concept, especially looking at the Nakia event. We have basically had to pull a whole team together on the fly. I mean, sure, some people had like Black Panther and Okoye and Shuri ready, but I didn't. Only really had Shuri.
Yeah, I had to do 2 of them, M'Baku and Killmonger, I think I had to take up.
Well, I just had like Shuri and Killmonger, and he's not even on that team. So that didn't help me at all.
All right, same here.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have anything else to say about that, or do you want to move on to the good stuff?
Do we? I think we want to move on to the stuff that really like.
That's why we're here.
Over quick. It's just like,
yes,
oh my
sir.
gosh.
Yes, sir. So for you guys that don't know, Archangel and Nemesis, we already kind of knew, or did they already announce Archangel, or was it just like rumored it was going to be Archangel?
They already announced him. Oh, sorry, go, Seth.
Yeah, no, they had announced him, but we didn't know the 5th member.
Okay, so yeah, he is the 4th and final piece to Apocalypse. I mean, there's many more pieces, but he's one of there's 4 main pieces, and he'll be the final one. So I'm excited about that. I love Archangel from the comics. And then they also announced that Nemesis will be the last piece, right? And what is he? Apocalypse's son, I guess. Is that who Nemesis is?
That's kind of the weird part is that they've got this is the child of I guess a horseman. I don't know. I have to go back and pull it up.
I've got it in front of me here. I can read it real quick.
Yeah.
While serving as the previous horseman of famine, Autumn Rolfson had an affair with the mutant tyrant Apocalypse, leading to the birth of her son William. Autumn feared that Apocalypse would view her son as a threat and kill him, so she went into hiding, raising her son by herself. William was granted immense power when his mutant powers emerged in the form of biofurnace energies. So he could generate radioactive plasma and blast bioplasma at temperature equal to the core of the sun. But his energy was unstable, resulting in the need for William to be trapped within a suit designed to contain his essence.
Okay, we might have to have Thad do one on him coming up. Okay, so who wants to read the kit? Is it me, I guess? Well, I'll go ahead and do Archangel since I'm explaining.
Go with it, buddy. Right. You got it.
All right, so Wing Wrath. And when I saw Wing Wrath, I thought Wing Wraith. And I was like, how clever, like Ring Wraith. But anyways, okay, so it's basic. We're talking Archangel. He attacks primary target and adjacent targets for 300% damage and applies 2 bleeds. In raids, he...
Technical difficulties. We're doing this live, guys.
Oh, this is worse than the first episode. Okay. In raids, he applies an additional 2 bleed to the primary target. This attack cannot be counterattacked. His special Shard Storm, clear 3 negative effects from self and all Death Seed allies. That's pretty cool. Apply offensive up for 2 turns to self and all Death Seed allies. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 330% damage. On any target block, fill speed bar for this character by plus 20%. On kill, apply offensive down for 2 turns to all enemies. This attack cannot be counterattacked. So he can't be counterattacked, it looks like so far. When he kills people, we're getting a lot of good things happening to the team. So far, so cool. Ultimate Angel of Death. Transfer all positive effects, excluding taunt and regeneration, from primary targets to himself. Flip 3 random positive effects to negative effects. Those are always, there's a lot of people like that do that in the game, but it's always good. Attack primary target for 700% piercing. Woo!
Yeah, that's a ton. Oh my god.
Whoa. Okay. In raids on kill, prolong the duration of all positive effects on self and all Death Seed allies by +1, up to a maximum of 2. This attack cannot be counterattacked. So he's just not going to be counterattacked ever.
Yep.
That's cool too. On kill, okay, so this is passive, Fallen Angel. On kill, generate 1 ability energy for self and all Death Seed allies. That's huge. And so pretty much don't you think he's going to be an awesome Dark Dimension character? I mean, I know he's meant for raids, but if you put some death seeds,
and I know we're still reading through the kit, but it's one of those I really like using the horsemen in the legendary nodes of Dark Dimension 5. And this is one of those, if we're talking about, hey, newer players jumping on, maybe the people in the SWUG community that are watching us for the first time through the main show, the understanding is that you have to have, as of right now, you have to have 5 city characters, 5 global characters, 5 cosmic characters, 5 legendary characters, on top of all of these other characters that are hard required to get Apocalypse, to get all of these other characters. So it's like, okay, you gotta start figuring out what's happening, and we already know he's a horseman character. He's required for Apocalypse. That means he's required all the way down. Any chance you get to use him, use him. So it's gonna be, I think this is gonna be good.
Yep, I agree.
I actually think on that topic that I think it's good for the game long term because of the fact that having those required characters and their shards being, relatively speaking, easy to obtain, will long term it'll create situations where when you do Dark Dimension, you're using the 4 horsemen and Apocalypse as your 5 moving forward, or at least those 4 horsemen, while you work your way up to their gear levels to get to and through Dark Dimension 5.
Right.
So I think that you may see their use just spike everywhere because they're just that good, especially if you can even get their awakened abilities as you're working through your teams. That'll just make them even stronger because their synergies are just so insane with each other.
So if we're using the leaders to all these teams with Apocalypse, do all those teams that you made for those other 4, are they just thrown to the wayside then?
So
because there's going to be a lot of points and times where you waste those characters with Apocalypse, and then you have all those other characters just sitting there.
I disagree in that. I think I know where he's going. I think the 4 horsemen with Apocalypse is that new Black Order team for Arena. That's going to be you want to get your top crystals? Well, you better have him. And it's going to be who has Baby Apocalypse to put yourself inside the top 100. And then you want to be inside the top 10 with the Krakens. You need a full-blown 7-star Apocalypse.
Okay.
So, I think in War, Apocalypse himself is probably going to be plug and play. And the Horsemen will lead their teams. So, I mean, I would maybe even see what like Tangled Web does. Like one of those teams that has, 3 or 4 members where he can just slot in and do crazy stuff.
Kind of like a Dr. Doom.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's very much in that same mold where he'll be busted enough on his own that you can basically just throw trash with him and it'll basically do whatever you want.
But it's definitely a GL feel, isn't it?
Oh, it 100% is. This is.
They even have the tickets for your characters, like the GL tickets almost with the awakened materials.
Well, that's so much more. You just need to finish a campaign, which the one thing, if people wanted to try and compare that, the one thing about those is that, hey, you don't have to farm for a material. You've just got to grind out a kind of tough campaign. A little mini campaign that you have to do it in one shot every single time for each node. It's great. I mean, if you plan ahead, when Rogue's saga started, I did it in one day because I had already built the team up well before her saga began. When Wars drops in this next patch, which I believe it's going to be this patch, I'm going to go through it in a single day as well because I have the entire team at G16. So it's just like, okay, just smash.
Oh yeah, see, I only have 2 characters. I just took a Red Hulk. I'm doing the Horsemen first, and then I'm going to start working on their teams, respective teams. So all right. Let's finish. Oh, go ahead, Seth, and then I'm going to finish this.
I was just going to say I'm in a similar place. I already finished Rogues, and I'm ready for Red Hulk. It's just I'm stuck on a couple of nodes in Morgan's because that team just can't seem to put it down. In her saga, it just seems to be a little bit tougher than the last one.
But yeah, definitely cool how they're doing it. Yeah. It's more fun than a GL, that's for sure. Okay, so passive on kill, generate 1 ability energy for self and all Death Seed allies on enemy death, and all this happens whenever someone dies. and there's about 10 things. Attack the most injured enemy for 200% piercing, ignoring taunt and stealth. Okay. Reduce speed bar for all enemies by 10%. In raids, reduce speed bar for all enemies by 25% instead. I mean, yeah, he's gonna be fun, man. In raids, bury yourself for 10% of this character's max health. On this character or Death Seed ally crit, heal self and all Death Seed allies for 3% of this character's max health. Gain plus 30% armor. Death Seed allies gain plus 30% armor. Gain plus 15% crit chance. Death Seed allies gain that also plus 15% crit chance. So that's Archangel.
Which it makes sense that it's the engine for that raid team, very much like a death pool mechanic, where it's going to make sense. You have to be able to, especially in the upper Doom raids, being able to snowball is everything.
Right.
So instead of granting yourself turn meter like Astonishing X-Men does, by removing the turn meter, they never get a chance to hit you.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you've mitigated the damage that inevitably catches up to X-Men.
Do you think they'll be viable in other places besides the raid?
Oh, God, yes. I mean, even in war, something like this, a 10% removal can make the difference. I mean, is it going to, stand up to maybe a Red Hulk team? Probably not.
Right.
But I think it could tear apart a Young Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of looking on the surface.
And in this game, speed manipulation is
everything.
The smallest of speed manipulation is so huge.
Instead of farming for speed mods, you're literally just trying to get every inch of speed bars possible. The big thing as well is just this understanding that all of the Horseman teams can be used. I use every single Horseman team in Cosmic Crucible and in War. Every single time. I'm always using, unless we're fighting a shell in War and it's like, okay, I'm going to send in like the character that does an AoE attack and kills everything so I can do it in 5 seconds. But if I'm actually fighting, I'm going to use Darkhold. I'm going to use Unlimited X-Men. I'm going to use Gamma Team. I'm going to use all the top teams. And so I don't really think that Death Seed is going to be any different.
I agree.
It helps for rounding out rosters instead of having, frustration and randomness. We now have a steady diet of offensive-minded teams to kind of cut through where they've been giving us more defensive wall teams, which is nice. It's kind of that balance counterbalance. So we had this problem a couple of years ago where it was basically, race to the bottom of their base because defense was nothing.
Yeah.
And then we had an era right after where defense was everything. You couldn't clear crap.
The Heroes for Hire meta.
Oh,
man, that was frustrating. That was so
you had to burn
frustrating.
your best stuff just to kill those, and sometimes it was still a 2-shot.
Yeah, Infinity Watch, it was tough because it was Infinity Watch and Heroes for Hire were the best teams, and you could do it with IW, but it was tough.
I still remember right in the early days of H4H, I threw my Black Order at it thinking, oh, I've got this. It just went, do you even know what we do? I'm like, I guess I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was before the charges would disappear after you burned them. They brought the charges fully back. You're like, who's giving them charges? Who do I kill?
Like, wait, what's going on? And it's just that understanding. But no, they've been giving us a lot of war offense stuff as well. I will not be surprised if we start seeing a kind of a shift back to war defense for a little bit, just because of, well, we've gotten Undying, we've gotten Underworld, we've gotten all this stuff. But no, so we've already read the kit for Archangel. We do have one more, which is Nemesis. I've got that one pulled up. If you all want me to read that, that's completely fine.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Okay,
go ahead.
So he's a villain global mutant support Death Seed member. So he's a support character. He's a different support character though. Instead of naturally healing the team, Archangel has the healing. The straight up, it's just a heal ability. That's in his what is that? It's the critting. Yeah, when he crits, they heal for 3% of Archangel's max health. Nemesis, on the other hand, on his basic, he's going to attack primary adjacent targets for 240% damage. He's going to steal 5% health steal when you're using these characters in Dark Dimensions or any of these big nodes where just the health bars are insane. That's always great to have, like a straight up percentage steal. So you're going to steal 5% health and redistribute to Stealth and all Death Seed allies, and it bypasses heal block, which is pretty nice.
It's Minerva ult on steroids.
Oh, for sure. The special is a 3/3, so you're gonna use it every couple turns. You're gonna attack primary and adjacent targets for 250% damage, steal 10% health, and again, this bypasses heal block and it redistributes to everybody. It's going to transfer effects from a random non-summoned Archangel ally to the self. Part of this is the case because Dark Beast is on the team and he can clone characters, and so this is their mitigation route for that. It's going to spread all positive effects on this self to all non-summoned Death Seed allies, and then doesn't spread taunt, stealth, regen, or safeguard, and applies speed up for 2 turns for self and all Death Seed allies. The ultimate of 5/5, attack all enemies for 300% damage, steal 10% health, redistribute to self and all allies, and it bypasses heal block. Slow for 2 turns, 2 bleeds. In raid, apply trauma and for 2 turns to all enemies. So bleed is a really heavy mechanic on this team. And for anyone that doesn't know, this also means this team immediately becomes a T4 intensive team. T4s, when you apply T4 to a move that applies bleed, it gives it a higher multiplier. So it does more damage. Even if the ability doesn't get any more damage, the bleed itself goes higher up because it's a T4.
Yep. I think it's from like 100 to 140, I think.
It's something
Don't quote
like that.
me. I'll look it up.
But so you have so much stuff that's happening just from that. Oh, also on the passive, straight up gain 30% damage. Death Seed allies gain 30% damage. Lower armor by 30% for all enemies with bleed. You want bleeds going everywhere. In raids, on spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all Death Seed allies. And when this character or a Death Seed ally drops below 50% max health, fill the speed bar for this character by 30% and gain speed up. So there's this cadence that's happening in the team. You have Dark Beast that can revive characters. And then you have Nemesis that can speed up really quickly to get to do some more health stealing to redistribute back to the team. So it's like, okay, everyone's kind of flowing around here, but we're keeping them steady because of our abilities that's happening between Dark Beast, between Nemesis, Archangel doing his heals on crits. So there's a ton of stuff happening.
So it's a 15% difference, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And when you add on a ton of bleeds, that's a lot.
So when he gets 30% armor and then Death Seed allies get 30% armor, does that mean he gets 60% total, or is it just separate?
So they always kind of state it that way. So it's he gets it and then his allies get it. It's kind of never really they get it double. I think there's been very few times where they get it doubled. I don't even know off the top of my head. That's how rare it is, if at all.
I don't think there is one. I think it's a code thing that they can't do it because the tag will not consider himself. And so I think it's something to do with the coding.
It's also where they specify allies. So you can't be your own ally. I mean, unless you're in a fight of me, myself, and I. But
which happens a lot more than you think.
It happens a lot. But no, so Death Seed is looking to be... I mean, we already know they're going to be the mutant raid team. It's not the only raid team we're getting like fully in this next patch, though. But I think that's going to have to be a segment 2 kind of discussion.
I think so, because we just got a blog this today right before we went on air. So, which sucks for us because it drops and we already have all our intros done and everything. So,
right.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it's kind of updates as and if it were to happen.
As in if it happens. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the blog post, all the stuff that's happened. And again, how is Scopely screwing us this week around? We'll see you guys on the other side of the break.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Pod cast.
Are you like us and play more than one mobile game? Well, we have good news. The Escape Podcast has expanded its lineup.
There's the flagship Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes show every first and third Friday with Paul Anthony and the Nav.
And the Marvel Strike Force show on the second and fourth Fridays with Flair, Kyle, and Nick.
Join our Discord to stay up to date with these and our additional shows produced under the Nerdy Network flag.
Everything happens live on the Escape Pod cast Twitch channel, or you can catch up on what you missed on our YouTube channel or your favorite podcast app.
Thanks for listening to the Escape Pod cast. Be nice to each other, damn it.
This is the Noob from Dickie and the Noob, and this is XMG's Corner.
What is going down, everybody? It's your boy Xery, and welcome back to Xery's Corner. What we're going to talk a little bit about today is 5 characters that are going to help you as a beginning player carry you through some of these stages and have longevity throughout the game. What was some criteria for this, you may ask? Well, we looked at the heroes Assemble 1 through 3, Villains 1 through 3, and Nexus 1, plus the shops. And when I think about the beginning game, what you want to look at is you want to look at things like, am I going to regret wasting my resources? What do they do for me? Turn meter manipulation is absolutely clutch at this point in the game. So anybody who's doing turn meter manipulation, who's getting more than just a basic attack, is going to help. People who are going to help you stay alive through buffs or debuffs or removing opponents' buffs, things like that. That is what we're going to want to look at. Turn meter manipulation and survivability can't be overstated to help you 3-star those nodes. Let's get into it. First character up at number 5, Black Widow. Now, Black Widow doesn't have the longevity of the other characters on this list. She's going to drop off mid-game. Still can be used in a lot of different places at the end game, mostly Blitz, but she has some great tags for the early game player. Global, Skill, Controller, Shield, Wave 1 Avenger, Military. That is a lot of tags where you're going to need a lot of people for. She can fit that role. But what I really, really like her for is a couple things, right? First off, she's a very easy farm. Villains 1-9. I mean, come on. You should hit that day 1 or 2. Start farming her. Taking a look at her kit, real quick. Basic attack, if she's stealth, she's copying and clear all positive effects. Love that. Camouflage technique, she's gaining stealth, feeding into her basic. She gets it for 2 turns. She's clearing all negative effects from herself. She's applying speed up and has a chance to apply it to all allies. Third move, Widow's Bite. She's transferring 1 positive effect. She can apply stun, which is amazing, taking somebody out of the fight for 1 turn, right? Then she chains off of that. She puts on bleed, really good. And then on her passive, she gains 15% speed, and then she applies it to any character that's taken in action. So if they've gone, they get 15% speed. Turn meter manipulation. For the early game, she has everything. Stun is crucial early game. Turn meter manipulation, amazing. Stealthing herself, increasing her survivability, increasing your longevity. Next character up is Spider-Man Miles. Spider-Man Miles, squishier character, can be found on Heroes 3-3. His tags, City, Brawler, Bio, Spider-Burst, Young Avenger, Web Warrior. Young Avenger and Web Warrior, viable endgame. Right? So you're gonna build him at some point anyways, but he does things in all those boxes we checked. He is a turn meter manipulation machine, and we're gonna see this here. On his quick strike, he does damage. If the target has defensive down, you're clearing 3 positive effects. Amazing. Venom Shock is absolutely devastating to the opposing team because you're doing damage, you're reducing speed, the turn meter, you're applying slow, you're debuff extending all negative effects. That could be bleed, it could be defensive down, it is, offensive down, just amazing, and it can't be blocked. Love this move. Web Blast, AoE, he's applying Disrupt for 2 turns on the primary target, and then he's applying Disrupt. It can't be blocked. Disrupt is devastating, especially in the early game. And then his passive, he's gaining stealth, and then on turn, applying that defensive down to a random target. It's unavoidable, can't be blocked. So he's feeding into his own kit, turn meter manipulation. A lot of his stuff, you don't have to worry about their positive status effects because he's getting around them. Number 3, Night Nurse. Staying alive to get the 3 stars is important. You're not going to have the teams that can go in there and burn people down. Night Nurse comes in at villains 3-9. And she does a wonderful job of keeping everybody alive. Real quick, why I like her so much is her primary. She's doing damage and then applying slow. Turning in manipulation on a basic. Fantastic. First aid, she heals the most injured ally. What will happen is she calls in somebody to do an assist. So you're getting a 2-for-1. She has a mass heal that applies 2 regeneration, so increasing that healing. And then her passive, she injures, or she has a chance to heal the most injured ally. Just really, really good character. Will help you stay alive to get those 3 stars to make your farming that much easier. Number 2, Shang-Chi. One-man wrecking crew, city, skill, brawlers, heroes for hire. Heroes for hire is still one of the best war defensive teams, especially if you have a crazy good Shang-Chi. Let's take a look at why. Primary target on his basic 240, and he's putting on slow. He's getting an extra crit chance if they have positive effects. So especially in like a raid, that is going to help out. On his deadly hands, he's doing damage and healing heroes for hire, but you're going to get Luke Cage very early, so that's a very good pair. And then Way of Fury, AoE, 75% additional damage per positive effect, reduces speed bar, just turn meter manipulation, more damage by doing nothing but attacking people who are trying to buff themselves. He's a monster because he's found in the Blitz store, so you can start farming him right away. Number 1, it's kind of a cheat, but it's a 2-for-1 special because it's like a 1A and a 1B with these two. It's Cloak and Dagger. Cloak can be found in the Raid store. He has City, Mystic, Controller, New Warrior. Going to help you in Dark Dimension, going to help you in Raids, going to help you in Blitz. He's just a monster, so let's take a look. He applies an assist now to Dagger if you pair them together, but he also applies offensive down, meaning they're going to do less damage, keeping you alive longer. On his second ability, he's clearing all positive effects, applying slow, defensive down, and offensive down. Amazing. His third ability, he's at AoE, and he's applying 3 random negative effects. Blind is my favorite in this game because they waste like an ultimate. They can't hit anybody. It's better than stun in my opinion. Defensive down, disrupt. Offensive down, slow. And then he's applying vulnerable. He is just crazy. And then on his passive, at the end of this character's turn, he has a 50% chance to steal 5% health from the most injured enemy. And all adjacent enemies, just unreal. Healing himself, just hurting more people by doing nothing. Great, great champion. And then the other one, Dagger, found in the Arena store. Love this champion. Again, you have City, Mystic, Support, New Warrior. Great person. Basic attack, 200% piercing damage and putting bleed and applying regeneration to the most injured or herself. Awesome. Longevity, increasing the duration you can stay in the fight. Attacking the primary target, clearing 3 random positive effects, chaining, and then on crit, she's clearing 3 random positive effects. She is just phenomenal, taking away taunts, buffs, offensive ups, defense up. Love it. Love this attack because it's an AoE. She's applying offensive down, increasing the longevity. Absolutely love it. And then her passive ability on spawn, applying regeneration to herself. So if you only have her, and then on turn, she applies offensive up to self and adjacent allies. So make sure you put her in a good spot to hit the maximum amount of people. She is just a great farm. The pairing of Cloak and Dagger together will carry you. So that is what I got for everybody in this episode. I'm going to kick it back to the guys, and thank you for watching the Escape Pod cast.
Welcome back, guys. So we're going to continue on to the blog post we got today. We have three new characters, 2 reworks. There's a lot to go over, so we're going to get right to it. Flair, you want to take over duties, my friend?
Actually, guys, it looks like you have breaking news, as we say, as and if it happens.
Is that the voice of God again?
It's the one above all.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so they had dropped literally within us starting the show, it seems. A new post on MarvelStrikeForce.com called Blitz Schedule, Login Calendar, and Milestone Points, and they're addressing 3 different issues. We've got a couple things they're doing. So the first off, for a limited number of players, the daily login calendar for November ended before the final day rewards could be collected. For those that are kind of new to everything, the final day you tend to get 250 power cores. It's a good little bump, and especially in an event that is requiring us to collect power cores, it's a really nice boost. So they're going to identify the players that logged in for only 29 days and misclaiming the day 30 reward, be sending the missing 250 power cores by the end of day tomorrow, Saturday, 12:03. Then they announced a brief shift in the schedule for Blitz, and it's just for this week only. So anyone that's been doing this for a long time, you know the kind of cadence that happens with this. You've got a character Blitz, and then we've got our quick rumble Blitz that's been happening, and then we have a day where we have both power, the premium orbs and the red star orbs at the same time. So what they're doing instead is they're doing the Blitz for Scarlett, Spider, and Red Guardian each have their run times reduced by 1 day. So they're taking 24 hours off of it. And then the Red Star Blitz and Orb Blitz will not run simultaneously, but instead one after the other, so concurrent. So it'll be one and then the next. The change is necessary for this week only to add event prizing related to Dark Beast to some of the Blitz rewards. So we'll mention in the blog post, but there's going to be blitzing events that's related to getting Blitz wins and getting fragments for Dark Beast. And they're going to put some stuff in the Blitz rewards as well. So they're doing that just to do some shifting with it. Third, regarding the first Panther milestone event, there will be a 10,000 Vibranium meteorites available in the web free claim on Saturday, 12:03 Pacific time, so don't miss it. So a lot of people, my alliance included, was talking today saying, hey, I'm coming up short on the first Panther. And we're just kind of like, guys, can we not finish this one like free to play completely? But so apparently they're doing a good. They're doing some good for us, and they're giving us a 10,000 meteorite free claim. You need to be logged into the web store to pick that up though. So just be mindful of that. And yeah, so it looks like they're doing some shifting. So the next little bit's going to be a little bit weird, but that's on top of the fact that we have a blog post. So who wants to start us off? Let's talk about what was added in the blog post today.
Well, we got the Rebirth team. Go ahead, Seth. Sorry.
I was actually going to do a little quick side note that they did add for the Free Claim Friday, which is currently live in the store. Make sure you get your extra 5K, or I'm not 5K, 3750 for the Dogs of War event.
Oh, I need that.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's energy for Nakia. I had to scroll down to it. And then 3750 Vibranium meteorites for First Panther. So you're looking about 13K towards the milestone. That may make the difference of getting Black Panther 1 million right there. So
on top of the
I think
daily,
I need that.
The daily web milestone.
All right, that might be what I need because I'm this far from it.
Man.
That's from the unlock. So
I'm about to pick up the herb, and so I'm sitting here. I think I'm like 20K shy because I missed some stuff with coordinated assault. But no, I'm shy. I'm a little bit close to finishing 500K on the milestone. So that's where I am. But anyways, Kyle. Wow, I wanted to call you Xery for a second. Kyle, go ahead and let's talk about this new team they're at again.
So yeah, guys, we got the Rebirth team. Let's just say we're cracking open the open case from the most notorious military projects to bring in an elite new team. This new squad of super soldiers. So it's a super soldier team. It's going to specialize in bio raid lanes. It'll be composed of newcomers Captain Carter, Agent Venom, and U.S. Agent, along with reworks for Captain America and Winter Soldier. And so we got some kits. Do you guys want to do kits? Do you guys want to do kind of some summaries of what they are? What do you guys think?
We've got a lot to talk about.
I think we should
have a lot.
kind of play in their summaries a little bit, but
All right, we can
off
do
the
that.
top, another bio raid team. Like, we just went through this.
Yeah,
like I still have a gear deficit in bio from that. Like, what? I mean, on the upshot, like, I get the fact that, like, this will be helpful for new players because it now justifies using Captain America in the first wave Avengers, which is great. It means basically you now have a team of very useful characters.
You're also required to use Winter Soldier if you're wanting to unlock Omega Red. And so that means that, hey, you're also required to build up, because Omega Red was one of those mythic legendary characters where you had to gear him up to a certain point. I believe the top end was gear 14 to actually get him unlocked, to 7-star him. And so you have to have Winter Soldier at gear 14 if you want a 7-star Omega Red. Omega Red is still a really powerful character in the game. I use him in Dark Dimension 5 Legendary, and it is awesome. It's amazing. Great. Love it. But so you have to have Winter Soldier build up. Captain America is an early game character. You pick him up relatively quickly. And so it's like, okay, we've got 3 more characters to add on to that. Hey, guess what? One of them's a symbiote with no symbiote synergy besides playing with other characters.
Which would be cool if they did that, because maybe it could raise the symbiotes a little back up, but they wouldn't want you to take away from this team, I guess. But
he literally just shares a tag, so like I don't understand his point.
I'm excited more about the reworks than the actual characters because, like you said, Winter Soldier already have, but they're both very beginner friendly, and a lot of people who are watching now are just playing or coming back to the game, and so. Yeah, my alt is really happy right now because I can work on both of them. I just got Captain America. I've been working on him, so now he's getting a rework. So that's awesome.
It may be the better question of figuring out whenever we get when we get these characters in, when we get the patch dropping, like what is their unique? What's the unique that's taken? Because anyone that has built the Web Warriors high, and has them mostly maxed out high. You had to spend Oz formula or whatever they called it now, for 4 of the 5 characters, and the 5th character being Gwen having to spend spores on, and so it's just like, okay, how are they gonna like ramrod us this time with
100%? The Agent Venom's gonna be spores.
I mean,
I'm making that prediction now. I will buy a crappy $5 offer if I'm wrong. But I guarantee you he is getting the dang spores.
None of you forget that he said that, by the way. All right, well, let's jump into the characters then, because we got a lot to talk about. I'll start it out here. So the first one on the blog post is Captain Carter. There's the kits, but there's also descriptions of kits. We're just going to do descriptions because there's way too much to go over. So it says for Captain Carter, for the Rebirth team, she is a support who uses high health and damage stats to lift up her allies amongst swarms of enemies. Her job is to heal and bolster allies with positive effects, but she also does a good deal of damage with her attacks. Captain Carter can also revive a dead Rebirth ally with her special ability, Acrobatic Justice, which will come in handy during especially thick raid waves. We love a good thick raid wave. So that's her in a nutshell. Okay, so Agent Venom, after spending his high school years, that's his
background.
Okay, Agent Venom is a blaster for the Rebirth team, and his damage and focus stats make him a major source of firepower. This human symbiote hybrid becomes an absolute terror in raids with its complete Rebirth team, with his special ability hitting 4 times total, and his passive ability popping the most injured enemy whenever he or a Rebirth ally blocks, which happens frequently with this team. So that's him in a nutshell. Moving on to U.S. Agent. U.S. agent reports for duty as a controller for Rebirth with high focus and damage stats to help him stick negative effects to enemies. He helps control the battle for his allies by applying ability block and stuns in raids with a low energy cost. Just 3 ability energy for his special and ultimate abilities. So that's cool. And with the low cost for abilities, you'll be applying a lot of negative effects on enemies. I like the sound of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am going to go over Captain America's all his updates because it's a rework. So a lot of rework people don't do with reworks is increase stats. And that goes for a lot of games I've played, especially in this genre. I don't know how often do they always change stats on reworks?
So when they rework characters in Strike Force, especially these older characters, they've been bringing up the base stats because
that's good.
Also
it's scaling.
Big note. For most people, you are not going to see the true effects of the stat reworking until you hit about gear 14. It's at that point where the scales start to ramp up, and you actually start to experience what the rework feels like.
Gotcha.
For some reason, they built it around that gear 14 level. So just be mindful. If you're a brand new player, you're not at the gold gear or anything like that for gear 13, gear 14, etc. You're not going to feel the full benefits of something like Captain America getting almost 50% extra health, 49%, or getting 40% damage, 16% armor, 46% focus, 32% resistance. You're not going to know what that actually kind of seems like until you get to gear 14.
Yeah, that's awesome though, because like I said, a lot of games like this, I don't think SWGA does it. They don't touch stats. If they don't very often do reworks, but I don't think they
do it more in the mods than anything.
That's true. That is true. I didn't think about that. Okay, so I'm not going to read the old part, but his new basic is he attacks primary target for 250% damage, applies offensive down for 2 turns, chains to 2 adjacent targets for 170% damage, and applies offensive down for 2 turns to them. He also gains defense up, and he gets counterattack breaks the chain. Okay, so his special, it clears all negative effects from self, cleared 2 negative effects from all Rebirth allies. He gains taunt for 2 turns, applies defensive up for 2 turns, and immunity for 2 turns to self and all his allies. That's pretty cool. Grant 1 ability energy, because that'll help. Even if you don't have Rebirth, that's still going to help you in the beginner game. Grants 1 ability energy to 1 to 2 random Avenger allies, and grants 1 ability energy to 1 to 3 random allies. So once again, you don't have to have Rebirth to get those things. But I think he was already doing that anyways, right?
Well, so Captain America was part of Wave 1 was kind of a war team. So you kind of use him in war, and so it's like, hey, you're going to run him with Avengers. But obviously now the Avengers kind of all got split apart because of all the various teams they're on. So, but yeah. Kyle has frozen for us. Where did he left off on the special? So we'll pick up with the ultimate. So the biggest changes to the ultimate is that instead of looking for wave 1 allies. Oh,
I'm still here.
Yeah. Okay. So hold on. Let's see here. Apparently, Flair is frozen for. Hi. Okay. This is getting weird. Only Bones is frozen. Okay.
Bones
we have
out.
lost Bones. Daggone it! Making me have to go to this scene, and I gotta.
Here, while you work on that, I'll go ahead and work on the kit here.
Yep.
So, with the only other change left there on his special Inspire is in raids he grants 1 ability to 4 random Rebirth allies, aka the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that'll be good. It gives them an actual engine to run with for Captain America, which is kind of something that was always lacking. Is he was a battery, but not a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Shield throw, he adds a bunch to shield throw.
It's looking for wave 1 now. It's looking for wave 1 or Rebirth instead of just wave 1. So he gets the speed bar boost that he gets. That's actually a pretty good speed bar boost. Really useful.
Especially because it means he's going to be taking more and more turns, which is fantastic for him because he's able to clear effects, do more things. He's very much he's giving that Star-Lord effect.
Yeah.
So, which is good. I mean, you're going to have to if you're actually going to put lead downfield with this team. Because I think I know what their actual game is on this team, which is kind of hilarious. But we'll get to that after we get through the kit here. In addition, he's now looking for Rebirth allies as well on that one. And if this character has 3 or more Rebirth allies, he gains 5,000% extra focus on all attacks. So basically, he's clearing effects, he's applying effects. There's nothing you can do about it. Unless it says that, unless there's, safeguard or a way that you're immunity at that point. His passive, though, is pretty interesting. On spawn, apply deflect to self and all allies, regardless of who that is.
Right.
That's great for wave 1. That's great for raids regardless. I think we just found for like wave 1, given all the changes, especially to Iron Man and now to Captain America being raid focused, I think that they may help each other out quite a bit.
Yeah, you can actually use the entire team. The currently reworked characters. I don't really want to consider Black Widow because Black Widow.
I'm still thinking they're going to get something.
Well, Black
Widow
Widow's
and
on that
Hawkeye
skill
getting
military
something.
team. Hawkeye, yeah, that's
I think Hawkeye just officially got the boot for this one.
Oh, 100%. He's just kind of.
So you can use Widow because you need her for the training materials event.
This is true.
So that works out in the end. That, or you can even sub in Vision if you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
Then again, he's not super early game friendly though.
Yeah.
But moving back to it, when this character or Rebirth ally drops below 50% max health, clear all negative effects from self and gain taunt. In addition, on death of wave 1, heal all allies for 10% of his character's max health, gain 25% block chance, and 20% for each Avenger or Rebirth ally. Gain 20% block amount, and raids gain additional 30% block amount. Then gain 20% max health. Wave 1 Avengers get 20%. And then in War, gain an additional 20% max health for self and all Wave 1 Avengers.
And that was already in there. Much of that was already there. Let me go back and look and see if any other characters gave. So we have focus coming from U.S. Agent. We have damage coming from Agent Venom. And then Captain Carter is giving health as well. So Cap is going to get a ton of health. Cap is going to be pretty thick because of his own passive health boost, his own passive health boost, as well as Captain Carter's health boost that she's giving. Sorry, it's weird twinge of the language happening there.
It's okay. You were getting distracted by America's ass.
Daggone it. Okay. Winter Soldier. The only real things that Winter Soldier received on his basic, he's applying defense down now. They did a stat boost on his special. Instead of doing like 210% damage, he's doing 300% damage. He's doing an additional bonus attack for a higher percentage amount now, 210 versus 150. And he's always going to apply bleed. Before it was a 75% chance, so 3 out of every 4 times he would land a bleed. On his ultimate, this one got the biggest changes, arguably, between his passive and that. Oh, Bones is back. Hi.
Here, I'll take it on.
Yeah.
Clear 3 positive effects from the primary target. And then in raids, if they have 3 or more Rebirth allies, you're stunning targets, applying Disruptive for 2 turns, and you get a ton of focus, and it can't be dodged or blocked, which is fantastic. And then his passive got a huge overhaul. When Captain America is attacked, apply offense up to all Rebirth allies. Gain 30% resistance. He's the resistance push for the Rebirth allies. Yep. He gets the crit chance push. And then the change as well is if Captain America is an ally, gain 20% max health. So this team is literally the definition of stop hitting yourself. That's literally what it is. Because, I mean, if you look at, the bopping from the passive of Agent Venom, he's literally going to be basically hitting them in the head every time they hit Cap.
It's a lot of retaliations.
And when Cap isn't taunting, someone drops below health, Cap starts taunting, and now you're back to stop hitting yourself.
Right.
So basically, instead of doing what Death Seed does and says you have no turns, they want you to take turns. They want you to hit them really, really hard, which is I mean, fine, but I don't see how this does any better than what Web Warriors already
Web Warriors
do.
is filling in a space. Most people, I think, until they give us a reason to build Rebirth, we're gonna just kind of be here. I won't be surprised if they say, hey, you need to build up a couple of these characters for Apocalypse, but we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Wouldn't they?
So,
is there going to be an interaction with Scarlet Witch and Captain Carter where she gets cut in half?
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Anyways, we're going to kind of quickly blast through the rest of this blog post. This is a meaty blog post. And there's only a few more left in the year. So we're going to hit through this one kind of quick. The next event, we're ending First Panther here in a couple days, and we're going to pick up the Festival of Frost. Instead of being a specific character focused kind of monthly meta event, we now instead are having a currency that we're going to spend. And that currency is going to be able to buy character shards. And they have that in a weekly rotation. The first week of the month, you're going to be able to buy Morgan Le Fay, Icarus, and Abomination. That's the 6th through the 13th. On week 2, you can buy Hulkbuster, Spider Weaver, and Agatha Harkness from the 13th to the 20th. I'm going to be pumping some stuff into Hulkbuster and Agatha because, oh my gosh, yeah, we kind of need those. I can kind of forget week 1 completely. Like week 2 is where we're going to be spending my character shards to start with. Week 3 is Dazzler, Spider-Man 2099, and Brawn. That's from the 20th to the 27th. And then going into the new year, with December 27th through the 3rd, you've got Spider-Man Noir, Rogue, and Nemesis. So really, of the characters, I only see 3 characters I'm specifically focusing for: Hulkbuster, Agatha Harkness, and Nemesis. What about you guys?
I honestly think just really Hulkbuster and Nemesis, but we're also getting options for Hulkbuster shards in the Cosmic Crucible update that we got. So I may not even spend on any of that at all.
This is true.
Other than, then again, I'm going to want Gambit shards because God, do we all have Understar Gambits?
Yeah.
Do you guys think that this is like? Do we already know how to unlock Nemesis, or is that going to be the way?
They've not
I'm
told
not
us
convinced.
specifically.
I'm thinking that this is going to be one of those games of chicken where they're going to make us wait until the very last week and pray that you have enough tokens to buy Nemesis, which, you know, it'd be the peak of Marvel Hoard Force.
He could be a lower, it could be like a 45.
Oh, I don't know. With the kind of kit he has, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm convinced that that's where the buck's going to be, is you spend cores or you've hoarded your currency.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. Anyways, with the monthly meta event, we've got four main milestones. That's going to be the Abominable Beast. That's how we unlock Dark Beast. That's through blitzing your freaking minds out. And a couple other events that tie into that. You've got the Herald of Death, which we're not sure what it's going to be. It might be Nemesis. It could be Archangel for the Death Scourge. Who knows? Progeny of Apocalypse.
That's Nemesis.
That might be Nemesis. And then Gift Wrap Gala. That is the final event. They're not giving us a whole lot of information about those. Your quick rumbles are going to be Skill Military, Bionic Avengers. Oh God, they're really doing a Bionic Avenger. Oh, they're going to make us blitz a lot. Oh well. You've got Vision and Iron Man that can then pump up some points. There's a no trait restriction on Snow Day Celebration, and then limited time Party Animal for the New Year Party, which they did this last year. They had Party Animal tags, which was for an event, and then oh hey, don't forget we have Coordinated Assault. There's 2 of them happening again, so it's going to be lovely.
Anything else cool from that?
I mean, we got character shards coming in the Crucible store.
But it's for the elite credits, which means it's going to cut into your teal orbs.
Mine are so hoarded, I hardly spend anything, so I'm down to put it on shards. I mean, I spend it on gear that I need, but I only smoke it.
Mm-hmm. Which, in fairness, you really only should be spending on the 600 ones.
Yeah, I have so much
of it. Farm Black Panther, Beast, and Lady Deathstrike and nodes. Yeah. I wouldn't spend those valuable currencies on them.
Oh, heck no.
Like, if you told me it was like 10 or like 15 for them, it might be worth it. But not even, there's no amount for those 3.
Especially
They've been out for so long.
Credits.
Yeah, I don't know. But like Gambit, if you're, you want to get some shards and get closer to a couple of stars, he really is the second most valuable character for the Unlimited X-Men. Like, he's worth it. Hulkbuster, a big Hulkbuster is everything for that Bionic Avengers team.
Right.
Abomination, I think you can pass on Abomination unless you're close to a star.
I just want Hulkbuster for my collection. I'm 9 shards away.
You don't have Oh, dude.
9 shards. So I just want him. Because I don't even think I have a couple of... I don't have the Bionic guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. But,
okay. So I think we've got a guest coming up. Oh, what?
Yes.
Oh, do we?
We do also have a
that's right.
person going into the raid store. Nico Minoru is going to the raid store.
Nico's going in.
Is she any good? Because I've never even used that team. Okay.
Her team's okay in war. It's kind of a mid-tier. It can beat like Asgardians, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, like Flair said, we have a guest coming up in the next segment. Our friend RunSeven. He's a really cool dude, has a really cool YouTube stuff, and we'll get more to know about him here after the break.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll see you on the other side.
The Escape Pod cast for kids. It's really cool.
Hello there, Padawans, and welcome back to Storytime with Uncle Thad for the Escape Podcast for kids. Today we're going to take a look at another sorceress in the Marvel Universe. Like Morgan Buffet, this magical madam will be an important character moving forward in Marvel Strike Force, which is also to say that her story had a pretty big impact on the Marvel Universe as a whole. She was an Avenger, a member of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, a hero, a villain, a wife, a mother, and rocks the color red like no one else. So without further ado, let's take a look at Scarlet Witch and see where in canon she fits. The Scarlet Witch from Earth 1616 was actually born as one half of a superpower baby duo. Wanda and her brother Pietro, also known as Quicksilver, were brought into this world by a nomadic Romani witch by the name of Natalia Maximoff. Mama Maximoff, knowing that her witchy ways could bring bad business for her babies, placed the 2 children under the care of a ventriloquist named Django. Because if there's one group of people you can trust with babies, it's a gypsy ventriloquist. Almost since birth, the lives of these 2 have been manipulated by one group or another. In their infancy, the High Evolutionary tampered with their genomes. During this process, Wanda would be imbued with mystical energies. For the most part, this duo's childhood was fairly traditional, but Wanda's latent magical gifts tended to draw the wrong kind of attention. A coven, which is like a sorority of witches, tried to get Wanda to pledge their sisterhood. At this time, Wanda didn't really have any obvious powers, but the coven could see talent when they spotted it. The problem was, one of the elder gods, Chthon, reached out to Wanda during the pledge ceremonies and interfered with the whole mess. There was a wild pig, a hobo, and a time-traveling Richard Nixon. Needless to say, it was a very Animal House-style interruption. Wanda decided not to join the coven, but began practicing her powers of sorcery with her foster parents. But eventually, Wanda, Pietro, and Django would go their separate ways. Once parted from her foster parents, the 2 tended to find themselves in more trouble than they could handle. During an unforgettable visit to a petting zoo, Wanda accidentally set fire to an entire flock of sheep. They just kind of caught fire when she was petting them. Imagine a cotton ball soaked in gasoline and orange juice. It was horrifying. The sheep just ran around bleeding, catching all the thatched roof cottages on fire. Of course, the villagers were not happy when their homes went up in flames. Luckily, Magneto was in the area giving a lecture on mutant rights and the proper way to hunt for buried gold when he noticed the commotion. He swooped in and saved Wanda and her brother. Loyal to a fault, Wanda decided to serve Magneto until she could repay the debt. While working for Magneto, Wanda would go on to fight the X-Men, and that's really all I want to say about that. Eventually, Wanda and her brother would leave Magneto and give up their terrorist ways to atone for their evil deeds, or maybe just because they needed a better healthcare plan, this dangerous duo decided to accompany the Avengers for a time. Captain America believes in second chances, after all. During this time, Wanda grew more comfortable with her powers and even more adept with her witchcraft. She fell in love with one of her Avengers teammates, Vision, a synthezoid, who had more in common with a hyper-intelligent toaster than she did the Scarlet Witch. But love is love, and you can't always help who you fall for. Eventually, Wanda drew on her magic and gave birth to 2 sons, Billy and Tommy. But a family just wasn't in the cards for the Scarlet Witch, and the magic that created her children was reabsorbed back into the demon Mephisto. Wanda Maximoff's story is a long and tragic one. She worked with the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. She was trained to use chaos magic by Agatha Harkness, influenced by the elder god Chthon, and manipulated by her father Magneto. Her story and her influence continues today. But with that, let's take a look at her kit in Marvel Strike Force and see how it measures up to the Scarlet Witch of canon. Scarlet Witch is a global hero who uses her mystic power to control the flow of battle and prolong negative events. She's a super vigilant hero who keeps her team alive by redistributing health to her enemies. Wanda's primary attack is her Hex Bolt. It's a type of jinx that lasts for 2 rounds or until the enemy, says the jinx person's name. One of Wanda's most powerful abilities in canon is her ability to warp reality. But what is reality, really? Is it the sum of our real-world experiences? Is it the aggregate of all of our interactions between what we perceive as real and what we can physically interact with? Are we defined by it, or is it defined by us? These are the questions that humans have asked for millennia. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Wanda's warped reality ability allows her to heal herself, so that's a thing. Now, the Scarlet Witch uses her chaos magic to attack all of her enemies at once. This ability adds negative effects to everyone because it's chaotic. That's kind of like the whole purpose. Scarlet Witch's final ability calls on the power of Chthon, which just spreads negativity because that's what Chthon does. He is definitely a glass half empty type of god. He's a jerk. Well, that's it for me, folks. Join us next week for another episode of Storytime with Uncle Thad, right here on the Escape Podcast for Kids. Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Podcastaways want you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Podcastaways. All for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Podcast.
Attention, we are receiving an incoming transmission. Attention, we are receiving an incoming transmission.
Welcome back, my friends. Here with us right now, we have RunSeven. RunSeven's awesome dude, also Marvel Strike Force content creator. He has these really cool YouTube videos where he kind of is like what he reminds me of is like CNN. Who's the guy that does the stock market and he's like smashing things and stuff and the start? You know what I'm saying? It's like on CNN.
Jim Cramer.
Yeah, he reminds me of the
first time I've been compared to Jim Cramer.
There's a first for everything, and you know what? I'm glad that here is the first time we can do that. I don't know if that's actually a good thing or a bad thing. We'll figure it out as we go, though.
But hey, add it into your skits, man. Get some hammers, break some things. You know, Scopely gives us.
I don't know. I think Scopely breaks enough things for me to complain about. I don't need to go smashing stuff on stream.
Right.
Seven, how you doing, my friend? Thank you for having coming on here.
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem, buddy. So the usual thing we do when we have a guest. What is your THP?
TCP.
TCP. THC, whatever.
Okay, so first off, when we go into TCP, this isn't such a measurement that should matter too much to anybody anymore, other than basically your roster breadth. Like how deep into your roster can you dig characters up? And now with the minion tag being in the final Scourge event, TCP actually kind of matters, because the really big TCPs, like say for instance Zubin, who's at the top of the Crucible list right now, he's got a huge TCP and he's got a bunch of minions in the 100,000, and that's where it matters. But for somebody like me, heck, I don't even know what my TCP is. I don't even pay any attention to it. I am at 24,315,000 is what I'm at right now.
Big dog.
That's not. I'm not even a day one.
Not even close.
No,
like I'm almost 21 mil, and the big boys now.
The big dogs are up in the 30 millions now. So it's
Is it 30? I thought it was higher than that now.
Oh yeah. It's the day one players should be in 30 millions and above, and then of course the Krakens who are spending more, right?
Right.
So,
although speaking of spending, are you an aquatic creature of any kind?
Okay, so I used to be pretty whaley. I was spending between $60 and $100 a month on the game, and then I moved my family and dropped my career of 27 years to be a stay-at-home dad. And so with that, I couldn't justify spending money on a video game at that level when I'm not bringing in income to support. I'm not going to make my wife pay for my video game habits. So I quit spending on Marvel Strike Force, not because of anything Scopely did, but just my own choosing. Right. And I am now completely free to play for the past 5 months. And that first month transitioning from, buying new character release offers and maybe a core offer now and again or something like that, or some of those broken offers that would come by, right? Like we get these $5 offers for a gazillion orbs or something. I would pick those up, of course. And now I don't buy anything at all. And the first month transition was rough. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh my gosh, I have to get good at this game. I can't just rely on my wallet to carry me anymore.
Right.
And after that first month, though, I started going, okay, you just pay attention. You get serious with your attacks. You don't mess around anymore. You start looking into what some of the content creators are projecting you should be using. You test that stuff out. You really get with it. And then you compete with the people that are working at your level, which is other free-to-play players for me. And of course, I've got a little bit of a head start on them, but there's, players that came to the game later that are free-to-play, mm-hmm. and I'm kind of right in line with them. And you pace yourself with those people, and you find an alliance that fits you for your spending levels and where you hang. And most of the people in my alliance are spending money, but I'm having an easy time hanging with them because I've been doing this for so long. I know which characters to really invest in, which ones to skip.
Well, it's almost I was gonna say it's one of those. It's like it's when you hit a point. So I was kind of in a similar situation. I still spend every so often, but there was a point where it was just like, oh, new character dropped. Okay, buy. New character dropped. Buy. New character dropped. Buy. But now it's just like right now the only ones I would even do it for is these upcoming Death Seed characters. It's just like I did it for Dark Beast. I'm gonna do it for Nemesis, but other than that, nothing else like stands out to me. And just it's just because they're raid characters. But no, it's one of those like if you know what you're doing when you get to those points, it's just like, oh, I have my plan, I have my goals, I'm still doing my job. Like nothing is holding me back at that point.
And there's multiple layers of what people should be spending or pushing for, right? So if you're a free-to-play player, you're limited in your options. If you are on the road to Apocalypse, you are getting and pushing for just the Apocalypse characters. You're hoarding everything. Yep. You are not getting distracted by trap teams like this Rebirth team that just came out. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, guys. This is not good for new players. It is enticing them to go after these new characters that may be out out of their reach when the web warriors, which are completely sufficient to get through all the current content, they have almost complete access to those as newer players and can get to them. These 3 new characters, who knows how many stars you're ever going to get on it. That team is built for Krakens to flex so they can hit that sim button in raids, and it's there for Doom 4. It's there for the future raids that are going to be built around it, because that team, if you're a Kraken and you're fleshing that team out to 7 stars, you're definitely hitting the sim button. Captain America blocking 100% of the time and 75% of incoming damage. Yeah. And then Peggy Carter's just keeping him alive the whole time. That's a sim raid team right there. Mm-hmm. And that is not for new players. That's not for free-to-play players. Okay. I mean, I love Captain America. I've got a 7 red Captain America, but he's going to stay on the bench. I'm going to keep riding the Web Warriors with that, because that's the team that I can build up. And honestly, I think new players should try and focus on those Web Warriors to G15 for right now, because depending on where you're at, when you get them up to G15 and you're thinking, do I take them to 16? Do I take them to 17? Maybe then it's going to be time to switch, and you'll be looking into the future Doom raids, Doom 3.5 and Doom 4 on down the road. Right. But that's too far away. Mm-hmm. But as far as, sorry, I get a little distracted and ramble on sometimes.
No, and you make
really
a great
passionate
point
about the game,
No, it's a great point, man.
It's almost the same thing as what we had with the last main meta bio team with symbiotes. As you took them up to a point, you're like, I don't know if I want to go any higher than this. That's why most of us have them somewhere between 14 and may have symbiote Spider-Man at 15, but nobody else is that high.
Right. I stopped at 15 with my symbiotes. I think maybe even 14. I can't remember. The difference with the symbiotes overtaken by the Web Warriors is that the Web Warriors were far and above better than them, and we needed a solution to bio at the time. Right now, we have a solution and we have access to that. And farmability in this game is a huge issue. Mm-hmm. So if you have a team that works, that you can farm in a reasonable amount of time, that's the team you want to go for. So this team, I believe, is a trap team. I think it will be really good for Krakens to flex in Crucible as a sponge for attacks, right? This is going to lower your efficiency, all that blocking and healing and sustainability going on there. Yeah, they're not getting a lot of their raid stuff, but they're still going to be a pain in the... Sorry, I don't know how much cursing you guys allow, but it's going to be a pain to get through that team in Crucible. So those Krakens are going to love to build that and throw that on defense and hang people up.
Yeah, no, I was talking to people earlier. So within our alliance and cluster, it's just like, someone was like, oh, they don't look like a great team. I was like, they've got a ton of stuff that only really raids lock out, maybe some stat boosts and a few other features and a few abilities. But it's like, if you got Web Warriors,
just take them to the next level. You're not missing out on much. They're just more of what they have.
They're bigger and beefier. That's the biggest thing.
And you know what? I heard you guys earlier talking about it with Agent Venom and maybe mixing him in with the symbiotes. Don't fall for that.
Yeah, no. There's no tagging in him.
That's no good.
Yeah, that was like he has a tag but no synergy. So what? Right. Why did you even do that?
I mean,
other than,
maybe there's going to be some hybrids that come out where you could use him in war, and you're going to use like Carnage in there against some summoning teams or something, and he'll help. I don't know, but I'm not I wouldn't build him for that purpose at all. I don't see the synergy there. They added that tag because they knew people would get excited about that. That's one more way that they sell characters. And that's the thing people always have to be thinking about when new characters release, when blogs release, when any kind of information comes out. You got to think, how is Scopely going to make money off of this? And that's the angle that they're taking. They don't really care about anything else.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm worried about Nemesis. I don't believe for a second that they're not going to just stick us with making us get all their shards in a week in the store.
You can expect Nemesis to be a 3-star release for free-to-play characters. However that plays out, he's going to be 3-star, maybe 4-star if you push really hard. Yep. I think he's going to be the Agatha of the team. He's going to be that Moondragon of the team that they hold on to and make really hard, the Gambit of the team. There's that one character on every team that they hold back and make it really hard to get. Hopefully not like Icarus hard to get, but they make it hard for us to get. I think Nemesis is going to be the one. So any people you are excited about coming? Like, what's your favorite character in the game? Okay, so my 3 favorite characters are Omega Red, Magneto, and Wolverine, and so I have all 3 of them already, and I have all 3 of them maxed out. I almost put 7 red stars on Wolverine, but I was like, nah, he's not worth it. And I kind of wish I would have, because then Age of X came out, and then we got several weeks through that, and I was like, I'm not going to bother doing it. We're almost over with Age of X, and never mind, 2 more months of Age of X. And I was like, I probably could have got some value out of Wolverine at 7 red stars. But for most people, don't do that. That's what I like to do, because it's the character that I like and I want to build it. But that's not where the value is. 7. In fact, 7 red stars for most characters is a bad value. There are very few that you really can get some good value out of. And usually that's because you have to predict how powerful and how long they're going to be in play. Like if you put 7 reds on Kestrel when she first came out, you did a good job, because we're still, she's coming back into Arena now. That's crazy. You know, maybe Hela might have been a good choice way back in the day, because she was really powerful when she came out, and now she's getting revived with Iron Man Zombie. And of course, he's working well at 2 yellow stars, no reds, as long as your Hela's tough enough to stay on the field.
It's so stupid how powerful he is alone. It's just like, this is ridiculous. People were doing crazy stuff with him, not even at max gear level. It's just like, what the heck?
Well, I took down a 1 million Young Avengers with just trash with those 2.
Was that in War?
It was in War, yeah. In War defense, it was, huge Kate Bishop, huge Squirrel Girl, didn't even matter.
Oh, they're punching up 500K on Dormhold teams. It's insane.
So stupid.
It's insane. But that's actually, it turns out, like, everybody was kind of upset about that at first, but it kind of turns out it's pretty good, because I've talked to some guys in the top 10 alliances and stuff, and they got tired of the wars up there, because they were already predicted who's going to win, just because of the complete imbalance in the TCP. And then you throw in this character that completely annihilates defenses, and it churns up the waters a little bit and makes things a little more interesting for them at the top.
So what is a character that you would like to have in the game?
Well, I was kind of hoping for Nightcrawler this time around, but I'm not too upset that Nemesis took his place. And honestly, that shouldn't have surprised me, because Nightcrawler has the name brand recognition, just like Gambit did, right? They made Rogue the legendary character rather than Gambit, because Gambit had more fan power behind him, and they know people are still going to buy him because of his name rather than push for that legendary. If they made him a legendary, he's going to sell the same. But if they make somebody else the legendary, now that legendary character is going to sell, and Gambit's still going to sell because of the name brand recognition. So wait for Nightcrawler to come out with any other X-Men team in the future. He can go anywhere on the mutants. He could even go on some villain mutant teams, believe it or not. And so wait for them to bring him out when they need to make some money, or they make a huge mistake and they got to dangle that shiny character in front of us to distract us from the nonsense, like a Gold Gate or something blowing everything up.
And they did the same thing with Hulkbuster. Like, it was awesome looking, but like it was so tough for me to get him free to play, but you could buy him very easily.
Right.
I wanted to, but I don't do that. So
right. I mean, just when they showed us, I remember back when like the Eternals came out, and like they showed us the kits and everything. It was like, okay, this is stupid. Like, oh, wow. And of course, there's just like, hey, we're gonna have a hard time getting them and getting their shards, and people are still having issues because premium orbs for Icarus, it's always ridiculous. But now it's just like, okay, we have so many other characters that are coming out. Now the question becomes, okay, when are they going to break out the cash cow that's going to make them the money? Gambit was the arguably kind of the most recent one they had, so we're now in that point. As far as where you're at, like, what are what's kind of your favorite game modes? Like, what's the thing that you're doing? Like, what if you could do one of these things like all the time? What would be the thing that you'd want to do as much as you can?
It changes. It's constantly changing, usually because they make a game mode and it will either work or it won't work, and I'll either like it or not like it, but then they'll change it or fix it. So I used to really like War. I liked how they only showed 2 teams. I liked how there were 8 teams lined up. And then they changed it to 10 teams and showing 4, and it kind of took some of the fun out of it. The strategy was gone, and then it just kind of got beat to death, and now it's a chore and the rewards aren't that great. Crucible replaced that for me. I like not having to rely on my alliance to carry me through.
Yes.
I like it. It's all on my own skills. I liked that they were changing it up on a regular basis. We are stuck with Age of X for another 2 months. That sucks. It's already like Age of X was getting old and I was tired of it. And I was like, sweet, it's going to change soon. And then we got that blog post. And so that's kind of frustrating. I really liked Tower when it first came out. And now on its 17th iteration or whatever we're on, and it's still the same teams in the Tower. We just went from 75 rooms to 100, and they added in some of the new teams that we got, but they're not mixing it up. There's no challenge. I made a video the first run of Tower, several videos, the first run of Tower on how to do it. And then the second time Tower came around, I just rewatched my video and said, oh yeah, that worked, that didn't, that worked, that didn't. And I flew through Tower again, and I've just continued doing that. And so it's not any fun when it doesn't refresh. And then Pocket Dimension, I was never excited about Pocket Dimension, but the rewards were good enough to get me excited. So that was fun. But honestly, there's the amount of screen time that's coming out for the game right now with all those different game modes. If they don't really nail the fun in the game mode, it's kind of hard to get excited about it.
Right. I remember when Pocket Dimension first started, and it was just like, wait, this is literally the DD1 characters just all over again.
Right.
Why are we doing this?
Every chance Scopely gets, they will cut and paste wherever they can. Like our new hero difficulty and the villain difficulties, aren't those just cut and paste from previous nodes?
They took the story out, and
they took
just
the story
combat.
out. And that's why Wong was farmable 10 times at first. I was actually surprised it took them so long to fix that. Like, I mean, I was farming the heck out of Wong because I'm like, they're not going to let us hit this node 10 times for long. That went on for almost 2 weeks. I was really surprised.
I took full advantage of 10 attempts on him. I think I got a good chunk of shards just from doing that. So right now it's Cosmic Crucible. It's kind of the big things.
Probably Crucible. I would like Scourge more if I hadn't been busy during the last two Scourges, is just real life got in the way. And I just couldn't really invest the time because, like, if you really want to do good in Scourge, you're taking the entire day to get the right RNG and to nail down each node and have that perfect play. It's time consuming, but if you're willing to invest the time, you can get mad stars on a character. And there's absolutely no other way you could possibly get stars on those legendary characters. Oh, wait, now they're giving them away to the lazy people who didn't want to push that hardened Scourge.
You can just buy the legendary character now.
Right. You just buy them, they're wallet farmable now. I would really, that felt really cheap to me. I was mad because I put so much effort into some of those Scourges, and now it's like, wow, I think they're giving them out in some gifts. Like I saw MLF in that blog post. She's going to be one of the characters that's listed there that you can get with presents or something like that. New currency. Oh, don't get me started on currencies in MSF.
I mean, on top of the fact that they have to have like 5 different milestones just to do one milestone. It's just like, why? Why is this a thing? You have to collect currency in one milestone to do another one, like Nakia's rings right now. Why could we not have just like collated that into the main milestone?
So the reason that they make these events so incredibly convoluted, the reason that they have milestone scoring into the millions of points and things that like sometimes you'll do so, like it'll say something, it awards 723 points, and you're like, why that weird numbers? They want it as convoluted and complicated as possible so that people make mistakes, so that they don't hoard the right thing, that they're not prepared for stuff, that they miss things, and that they have to turn around and open up their wallet and spend money.
Yep.
And shout out to content creators like you who give the inside straight on, hey, look, here's what you need to do.
There always has to be a spreadsheet guy.
Absolutely.
Yes, we've got a couple of them here in Marvel Strike Force. And Marvel Strike Force has a fantastic community. And the reason I like it here so much is because more and more it feels like it's us against them. They come out with more and more horrific things for us to deal with in this game. And the community comes up with better and better ways to get through it, right? We had content creators that were saying, hey, just build up characters to get through nodes 1 and 2 of the Scourge to unlock this character, and you can save a ton of resources. You don't have to go all the way through node 10. You don't have to build these new teams. If you're a new player, you can just build for nodes 1 and 2. Well, Scopely figured that out, and now we've got minions.
Oh, and it was also, you there really wasn't that many tags left in the hat for them to pull out. It's like, okay, we've already done villains, we've already done Avengers. What? Okay, we've got non-legendary X-Men. Okay, there's 30 more characters we have to figure out what not to do with. So it's like, oh, hey, it's the last Scourge. Screw them, minions.
I mean,
that was always going to be the rub. Like, we knew that the Fourth Horseman was going to be the one where they really turned the screws on us.
Right.
And be like, no, you're not getting this character. Get your wallets out, losers. Figure it out.
No, exactly. Because you've already pushed through 3 of them. You're not going to give up now. I mean, although sometimes Scopely pushes us a little too hard. And the minion things, for a lot of people, the minion thing was like, forget it, I'm done.
Yeah.
And they're just like, the hunt for apocalypse is just too long. And so they got to be careful how hard they push us. Personally, and I'm the only content creator you guys will talk to who's excited about minions, because it's 32 characters that I get to choose from and try and strategize the best, most efficient way to get through it. And remember, they're boosting your minions and giving you points for making your minions stronger in the first 2 nodes and making it tougher in the last 8 nodes when you're up against the enemy's minions, right?
Yeah.
And you're getting more points for it. And that's to try and balance it out so we don't have to build our minions as big. I'm hoping they'll really lay into that, and that there won't be very minions scattered through the last 8 nodes, and that we will actually get to take advantage of that. And that's the caveat. That's the bone they throw us. But it might not be that good. I mean, they might layer minions and minions in some of those final nodes, and then you activate those Scourge modifiers, and you're just screwed.
Or even worse, they lay up the first 2 nodes with Baron Zemos and every character that hates minions, and it's like they're going to make it balls hard difficult for you to get past that.
I wonder if there's going to be anti-Ravager synergy, because we already built Ravagers.
Don't do that to me.
I hate it too, because that's actually the only minions that I actually have at a decent gear level, other than some somewhat crappy shield minions from when, having Coulson and Fury was a meta thing to have. But like, this is going to be bad.
It's not unheard of for Scopely to do horrific things, to force us into buying something and building something, and then absolutely dropping the hammer on what we did. Everybody's building the Death Seed team, or they will be building the Death Seed team, because mutant lanes are atrocious. What happens when we get to Doom 4 and they sprinkle a whole bunch of echoes in there with a ton of resistance, and you can't blind her, and it's hard to kill her, and now you don't have that striker skirmisher combo on your entire team, and everybody has to do the ridiculous notion of putting Raider on a bunch of them just to get them the heal so you can get through it. Now you're wasting ISOs and stuff. That's a thing Scopely would do.
Yes.
And then they'd say, oh, you don't like that? Hey, here's a new mutant team, and it's Nightcrawler. You never know what they're gonna do.
It's so crazy.
So, Seven, how are you approaching the minions? Have you decided what you want to work on, or?
Okay, so I ask everybody the same question when I talk to them. I say, if you had to pick 5 minions now, who would they be? And you get a wide variety. A lot of people like Ravagers because they were most recently reworked. A lot of people like the Shield minions because they're going to get a lot of that crit bonus from the modifiers. And then, of course, you've got people who built up certain minions for one reason or another. Valley Flying had a 7 red star monstrosity, so maybe he's going to take him in. By the way, higher red stars don't make a bad character better. They make a bad character bigger. So don't get lost in that fallacy. But if you have a favorite character that you built up beforehand, I know Venora was a Hydra sniper that her chat made her build to like gear 16 or something like that crazy. So obviously those are some choices. So personally, I built Mercs back in the day because I'm a big fan of Taskmaster. I had 7 red stars on Taskmaster. So I have a G15 Merc Lieutenant and a G15 Merc Riot Guard that I already have. So I'm taking those 2 in, and I'll fill the other 3 spots with shield minions. Reminex proposed that with the idea of them getting crit, like Shield Assaulter, I believe, is the one that passes along extra crit for her team. And then it'll probably be Shield security. And I don't think that that's a great choice, but that's because I kind of want to build him. If I got to build him, I want to try and use somebody that I could maybe use elsewhere, like in a Crucible defense, to taunt and throw things off of certain counters. So maybe shield security for me. I wouldn't recommend that to other people. And then it's going to be trooper for damage, or maybe, and I hate saying this, maybe even medic.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to have that crazy RNG, maybe she'll get that last, that 11th hour revive and you'll pass with all 5 characters, so that you could carry that team onto node 2 or something.
And we knew how much of the Scourges were down to RNG. There was like, oh, hey, your web warriors, you need to get just the right number of dodges, and just the right number of retaliations.
I knew people that refreshed that web warrior, was it node 5? They refreshed that for 17 hours waiting for the perfect RNG.
Yeah. I'm personally doing. I've only decided the core 3, and the other 2 I'm going to kind of wait a little bit later to figure out. I was one of the few that was super anti. I don't want to do Hero Asgard because it's a lot of Mystic gear that I didn't want to pump in straight away. I was like, oh hey, Ravagers. I already had T'Challa Star-Lord already at G16 for Dark Dimension. It was okay. Yondu's a Mystic character. Then it's 2 tech characters and a bio character. That's not nearly as bad as Mystic, considering what I was working on Mystic wise at the time. So that was my decisions, and people were like, "Oh, that's that. Why did you do that?" And it turned out just fine. I was doing War Scourge in the middle of my honeymoon, and here we are now.
Hiding in the bathroom doing your war attacks, right?
Right.
We've all been there. We've all been there. That's one thing that Scopely likes to do, is pit us against our alliance to make sure that we're tuning in when we're supposed to, staying in there. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people wouldn't be playing this game for as long as they did had they not made the friendships and built the alliances that they're in. So that's a thing that they do. I wanted to take a look, though. There's another thing concerning minions, and I've got some info, some data mines here someplace, and I want to go back and see if I can find it. I believe there's a data mine that says there's going to be 6 characters released in this upcoming patch.
We know 5 of them. We have a 6th character they haven't released yet.
Right. So what if this 6th character has something crazy to do with minions? Now, from what I'm told, it can't be MODOK because they don't have the coding to make that fat little floating head. It needs to be more of a bipedal character. So it's probably not going to be MODOK. But what if there was a character like MODOK that came in and you were like, oh, I wish I would have built those minions because they're going to be better, So what if they bring some character? There was a couple of characters, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they were closely associated with the hand. And what if the hand is going to get reworked soon? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, everybody's laughing, like Blade Master's like last on everybody's list for minions. And what if he becomes OP in other game modes with this super duper character that's coming in the next patch? We don't know. And so I always tell people, when it comes to these minions, don't build anything. Just save up your gold, save up your mats. Expect to have to build either a 5-man team to gear 15 or several teams to gear 12, somewhere in that vicinity, depending on your roster size, right? It's different for everybody.
Yep.
But depending on your roster size. And so save all that stuff. Watch the content creators go in there and smash their face against these minion nodes, see what works, what doesn't work, and then spend your resources.
100%. All right, we've got a couple more minutes to go. So honestly, the thing I want to do now is give you just kind of the floor to talk about the stuff that you do over on your channels and what content you make. So if you want to just kind of give everyone just an idea, I know we got a lot of people who watch you, who've been popping in and checking out stuff, but for everyone who has not watched you, what's your shtick? What's the thing that you do?
My shtick is to make an ass out of myself most of the time, pretty much. No, I do, like 98% of everything I do is a ripoff of somebody that has come before me or what people are doing currently. Like my recap video, I just go out and look at what everybody else is doing. I find the important videos that are on YouTube. I find the important information from the data mines. I find the important information that is appearing on Reddit, and that's tough for me to do, but I go there and dig through the salt mines. And then every morning I bring it and say, hey, here's what happened in the past 24 hours. This is the important stuff that you should note. These are what you need to save in your inbox. This is what you should be spending right now. Hey, remember, we've got this coming out, and just trying to keep everybody up to date in like a 3-minute or less video. And honestly, I think most people watch those for the bloopers at the end anyways. The other thing I like to do is the segment called Defense Up, which we used to just focus on war, but so many people requested Cosmic Crucible that I have kind of brought together a brain trust of some really smart people. Pathfinder Gaming shows up there all the time. Purple Sticky shows up there all the time. I've got Juicy in there. And we go on live stream, and somebody will send me their roster, and we look it over and we figure out, hey, is this a good 8-team or 6-team defense for Crucible or 10-team defense for War, whichever they want to do. And I tell them, hey, the placement, the power levels, the ISOs, this should be changed. We should swap this out and everything. War, I got so good at that I could just glance at stuff and it was really simple. Everything's basic. The only thing that really would ever change on those situations is if new characters came to the game or if their room was adjacent to security or something like that. Then it kind of changes some things, but most of the time that was easy. But when we got to Crucible and things started switching up, I was out of my depth. And so I am highly reliant on other content creators and chat. And we all work together as a team, as a community, and we come together and we help each individual with their rosters, and we learn about it. And the pace that Crucible changes, the ideas and the hybrid teams that come out for Crucible defense and offense is so fast paced that every time I stream this, I'm learning about a new counter. I'm learning about a new defensive trick that you can do to get that better efficiency score. And we have a lot of fun doing it. People kind of making fun of me for some of the stupid ideas that I come out with. Like, I think this morning I was trying to push Raider for Nemesis and everybody was telling me how terrible that idea was. I like to be the advocate for the things that may not work. I like to do the stupid ideas. I like to think of the creative stuff that's outlandish and try it out. And just, I don't know, show people that it's okay to fail, that it's okay to not spend on this game if you don't want to. It's okay to step down from your alliance. You can still be friends with those people and take some of the pressure off of you. And I just try to let people have fun and find the best way to do things and the best way to play this game the way that they want to play it.
Absolutely. That is
Love
awesome.
it, man. Love it. Yeah. So tell us how we can go watch you, like your channel links, all that stuff.
Well, I've been working on a Grindr account, but they just won't let me sign up. No,
OnlyFans, whatever you got.
So Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings on Twitch. I'm Central Time. That's 10 a.m. I get started, and we usually go into those defensive reviews around 11. And then that just kind of drags on for however long it is. Sometimes my wife joins me on the Friday streams, but she's really heavy into her finals and stuff right now, so she hasn't been making an appearance. And then you can catch my YouTube. I try to put out daily content on YouTube. There's the morning recap every weekday morning. And then there's the Defense Up videos, and that I restream my Twitch streams onto YouTube, so you don't have to watch the VODs with all the commercials, because I don't like mid-roll commercials on any of my stuff. So I try to make that available so people can watch without that stuff. And yeah, so you can catch all that on YouTube, or you can find me live on Twitch, or you could go into my Discord and have some good conversations there. And if you do want your defenses featured there ever, hit me up on Discord, send me some pics. I'll get anybody who wants on the list.
Awesome.
I'll have to take you up on that, man. RunSeven, it was an absolute honor having you on here, man. We'll definitely have you back on here too soon. Can't thank you enough. So, guys, next up we have Patreon's Choice. So we'll see you guys here in a minute.
Hold on. Thanks, here, guys.
Just
make sure if you guys have channel points, you can still redeem them for fourth question segments.
Yep.
Or join you can
Patreon.
Make those questions, or if you're a Patreon in the Patreon category on the Escape Podcast Discord, there is a section where you can ask those questions. Currently, we have one in the hopper, so unless you want us to stare awkwardly into the abyss, find some questions, folks.
Yep.
All right. Seven, take care, man.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Padawans, Be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena tracking bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Dickie's House of Dickie, this is Dickie.
Dickie, we have a problem.
Oh, hey, what's up, Paul?
Look, I'm not sure what's going on with your segment, but it's affecting the whole show. You need to get control of this.
Yeah, I know. We're having issues over here, too.
Issues? Thaddeus is now addicted to the smell of chloroform. Bob is speaking in tongues. I walked into the cafeteria the other day, and Neil was drinking coffee. Coffee! Dickie. I asked if we were out of tea, and he said no. He wanted a cup of coffee.
Ooh, that is pretty disturbing.
So, what are we going to do about this?
Well, I'm sorry. I really have no clue what's happening here. We're victims, too.
And you have no clue who could be doing this.
I mean, I have theories. I mean, surely we've met our fair share of scoundrels and homicidal droids over the past year, and well, I hate to even mention this, but I had Yarmo run some tests on Noob and found a strange file that Yarmo said was just sitting there like it wanted to be found.
Do not click on that.
I think if we want to get to the bottom of this, we have to. It's called Hotobosks. Does that mean anything to you?
Bosk? You think someone has sent Bosk after us?
No, I don't think so. It's spelled B-O-S-X.
Wait, so H-O-T-O-B-O-S-K?
No. S-X.
8 letters.
That's correct.
Starts with an H.
Uh-huh.
Ends with an X.
Oh, wait, I see where you're going with this. You think we have like a ghost in the machine type situation?
Maybe, but didn't you also run into another version in the multiverse? Could you have opened a door you possibly shouldn't have? If it's him, we have to click.
All right, well, I had Yarmo put on this USB key, so rather than fry my laptop the Noob, I guess. It seems to be calling out. It's asking me, do we want to admit mysterious stalker to the call? I guess. Here goes nothing.
Remember, the 5th of November, the Gungan treason and plot. I see no reason the Gungan treason should ever be forgot. The only verdict is grappling the governors. Grievous is gone. Gungan gunfire granted him guidance to the Great Gorge, yet glory is not granted to the Guardians. Grit, a gift granted to a grifter from a game from a generation gone. A Guardian was given guise over a group, granting gate to gesture with gusto. A gambling gonk, grown from the genius of geeks, and not gems of the galaxy of Gorge. Grains growing gainfully while ghosts of glory remain gilded in the ground. Our day will come. There is no death, only sacrifice.
Is that it? It's over? Well, that was pretty creepy.
Well, that was not very nice.
Wait, you're not a recording, so this is live?
No, this is a recording.
Okay, whatever. What's with all this cryptic stuff, dude? If you have a beef, just come at it straight. I can't help you if I don't know what you want. Besides, the QR code that led you to the Lake City, the Gungan treason, I know it's you, Jar Jar.
Jar Jar. It's always Jar Jar with you people. He is the reason no one takes the Gungans seriously. We banished him, and he still haunts us. I mean, seriously, we defeat the Separatists over and over again. They 3 full squads, but we can't get a single one because of Jar Jar Binks.
So, you're not Jar Jar?
No. We have one of the coolest armies with giant boombas, glowing shields, catapults, foombas, Flump sets, bombard shields, not one single Gungan in the game. Yet we get a full team of weird flying bugs who did nothing but get slaughtered in battle. I defeated Grievous in battle.
Oh, wait, you're that general guy. Oh, what's his name? Paul, help me out.
Is it Goose?
That's it, Goose Marbles.
My name is a Ruse. Ruse Tarples. I died one of the most heroic deaths in all of Star Wars, sacrificing myself to save the Naboo, and no one even remembers my name. The dum-dum who sat 20 feet away and watched it happen with a goofy expression on his face. Everyone remembers Jar Jar Binks.
Look, man, I'll admit you make a pretty solid case, and those boomas are really cool. But really, why us? What can we do for you, Goose?
It's a ruse. Misa watched all these characters are coming to the game. Characters who's barely known. And still, not a single Gungan in this game. Misa be caring about me soldiers and wants to be seeing them. Get respect that Misa deserving.
But again, why us?
Well, Misa seeing what's you did for Hondo. And Misa think you use to help out the Gungans.
Count me out. I just got out of a long-term relationship with a cause I thought I'd never win, and I'd like to enjoy the spoils of that.
Well, I'm not sure what power I really have here, but me and Noob do kind of need something new to do. I'll tell you what. If Noob and I agree to find out who decides what characters make it to the games and bring you to him, do you agree to stop messing with our ships?
If you're helping the Gungans, Misa beings most grateful. Oh, no. I'm not setting off on another wild goose chase.
Whoa, don't say goose, Noob. That kind of triggers him.
Oh, and another thing. Did you think they're going to have an episode without me? Huh? My name is in the title.
Of course not, Noob. Here you are. Yay!
Uh-huh. I'm not getting out of this, am I?
Nope.
Fine, let's find out who picks the characters that get into the game. But this had better not lead us into another season finale showdown with Mickey frickin' Mouse. I mean, whatever his name was. It's already been done.
You're listening to the Escape Pod Cast.
Welcome back, guys. This is the third and final segment of Patreon's Choice, where you guys ask us some questions. For what? Oh, is it the fourth? Okay, what? I don't know. I can't count, guys.
Hey, Seth, I have to say, like, we were on a wavelength and it worked. And oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry, Bones. I'm so sorry.
No, that's probably going to be the outtake episode.
Oh my gosh. I was definitely my C game today.
Hey, you're fine. You're fine.
So we have a whopping one question from the one and only Nev. It says, what character do you want in the game next? And why is it Death Shed double I? I don't know who Death Shed is.
Hold on. I think I have a better rendition of this. And this is going to be, he's going to probably hate me for this. But anyways, he's going to say, Oi, what character do you want in the game next? And why is it Death's Head 2?
That was much
Governor!
better. I thought you were Nev there. I had a flashback to the Swugga stream.
Man, this guy in Death's Head 2, I gon' swear.
Never even heard of him either. But I heard he's pretty cool. Neil claims he's pretty cool, though.
I think Flair's impression got stuck in the Heinze dimension.
It was a little Heinze there. Death said 2. I'm sorry, Neil, but probably
there's
not.
no other answer. It's Death Shed. I'm gonna start calling him Death Shed.
Death Shed. Yes, let's
That's
go
what it
Death
looks
Shed.
like. That's what it looks
Death
like
Shed.
when he's there.
I like it.
Oh my goodness!
But seriously, I mean, all this hype about Nightcrawler, I think that's who I would like to see next.
I'm trying to think right off the top of my head. Man, as far as Marvel characters, it's like we've gotten so many of them that I'm like, I'm pretty okay with, like, there's not a lot of characters that straight up stick out to me. I'm kind of wondering when are we gonna get there's a random character. It's a Cosmo, the space dog, who's part of the Guardians. It's like, when's that gonna happen?
No.
When are we gonna get a dog on the team? It's gonna
That's
be great.
true. You do need a dog.
I'm
they
not
also
calling
have
that a
the
favorite character,
T-Rex, the T-Rex too.
Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah,
that's who
that'd
it
be
is.
kind of
Devil
cool.
Dinosaur and Moon Girl.
Yep.
I've been playing a lot of Snap. Okay, Marvel Snap. I've been playing the game and I've been loving it. And Devil
I'm gonna have to
Dinosaur
try
is a deck I run all the time.
Okay, I'll have to try it out because a lot of people say a lot of good things about it.
It's so much fun. Hey, that's a great segue into talking about what we're doing as far as content goes this week. So, who wants to start us off?
Seth, go ahead.
I'm not doing any content this week. I'm on vacation starting tomorrow.
Hey, man, vacation life.
Sounds like my kind of thing.
Yep.
Blair, what about
there's
you?
a pool with my name on it.
Ooh. So as far as I'm concerned, I've got, oh gosh, what am I even doing right now? You can actually catch me tomorrow over on my channel. Again, I do variety stuff. Mostly it's a lot of story-based games. So tomorrow we're finishing up Pokemon Violet. And if I'm done with the post-game stuff by the end of that stream, I may dip into a little bit back into God of War 2018. I'm kind of preparing for what I want to do the next little bit. And we have Marvel Midnight Suns that drops. It just dropped like this week, and I'm like, I kind of want to play it, but
shout out to Big Country Mags. He was just streaming it before we went live, and it looks pretty fun.
What,
it looks
Midnight Suns?
It looks like Snap and like gosh, I don't know. It's an interesting
XCOM.
mix.
It's made by Firaxis, which is the guys that made XCOM.
Yep, it's an interesting little. But the graphics are cool. The story seems pretty cool.
Is it actually like full on strategy?
They take out the positioning of XCOM and instead do card based combat. So like you have energy and hero points and stuff like that. There's some people that are doing a lot of great content for Midnight Suns right now. There's a guy I watch, Christopher Odd, who does a ton of stuff with that. But yeah, no. So I'm doing Pokemon and God of War, maybe a little bit of Marvel Snap in between there. Hey Bones, what about you, buddy?
Hold on, I have a question for you before I say that.
Me?
Are you liking the Pokemon game? Is it worth the money?
Besides the performance jank that's in the game, I actually very much love the game. I think you kind of have to wade through performance issues. I set myself to a limit of only like current gen Pokemon, so Gen 9 Pokemon, no, not even the version remakes and stuff like that. So not the Paldean Wooper and stuff like that. So I did only Paldean Pokemon, and I'm loving what I did there. The exploration is so much fun. The fact that you can do one of 3 kind of quest lines, you still have to do all of them. You're to actually get everything done, you need to do all 3 of them. But to be able to have the choice of at least starting where you go and just roaming and having fun doing that, I greatly enjoy it. So a little performance jank. But
believe it or not, I also have Violet, and my spouse Arcane has Scarlett. So we've been, as she likes to go, she's already finished like the post game, and she's just trying to finish like the last 20 entries in her Pokedex.
Oh my gosh.
And it's basically her at this point bullying me to finish the game so that she can get the Paradox Pokemon from my Crater area stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's me begrudgingly putting more hours in where I'm just trying to savor it. Versus she's like, I'm already done. Give me their stuff.
Well, now I know what the kids are getting for Christmas.
Yeah, it's actually a really good entry. Like,
I think it's better than Sword and Shield.
I agree. I greatly agree. But anyways, yeah, Bones, what are you doing, buddy?
Same old reluctant Grand Arena streams every time one comes around. some Marvel Strike Force. I do my alt account. I'm having a blast doing. It's actually funner than I thought it would be. And my passion right now is Star Wars Galaxies, the MMO, and just loving it. Can't get enough of it. And I've met a lot of cool people in the community. I'm actually hanging out with it's now modders keeping servers up. And so I'm hanging out with one of the owners / modders for their own server. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of hooked me up with like a little cheat menu and stuff. I don't really cheat in it because the fun part of it is the grind. Uh-huh. But I can spawn any items, and it's just really cool. And they're talking about modernizing the graphics, and it's just the craziest world in a game I've ever been in. And it's Star Wars. So if anyone's interested,
pick up Final Fantasy 14 for a little bit. Did you check that out a little bit?
I haven't yet. Do you play it?
I play every so often. I really enjoy 14. It's one of those that I have my seasons where I want to play it, and I play it a ton. And then my seasons like, I'll log in and do this here and this there, and that's fine. So,
I have not tried it, but everyone's saying try it. I'm a huge MMO fan. I'm guaranteeing I'm going to love it. So
I so want to do the tagline that everyone's been doing for Final Fantasy 14. It's like, the critically acclaimed MMORPG. You can go up to level 60 and have the full Heaven's Ward expansion, all that stuff. It's a great game. Awesome, fun stuff. But yeah, no, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So anything else?
I don't think so. Great show despite the many, many problems we had. It'll get better, folks. Sorry about that. But yeah.
We had our intro episode, and today was the rough out some of the kinks, and we got some more we got to rough out. But I think we'll be okay. Come 2 weeks from now,
we'll get there.
We should be a smoother engine. And remember, everybody, be nice to each other. Damn it! And Flare,
yes,
push the button.
Of course. See you guys next time.
Bye.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gotta be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.